All right, welcome back. It's still the news review segment right here on Breakfast Daily. And now it's time for us to get into another conversation, a very important conversation, because I feel like we're all women. So this will sort of like concern each and every one of us. So parliamentary probe into comments against Senator Rawlings. Let's check ChannelOneNews.com, and there's an article there. Bagman condemns unsavory remark against Senator. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagman, has condemned the unsavory comments made against Dr. Senator Rawlings, Member of Parliament for Korle-Klottey, during the parliamentary proceedings on February 4, 2025. During parliamentary proceedings on Tuesday, February 4th, a male voice was heard shouting, "Daughter of a murderer, sit down. Daughter of a murderer, sit down." The outburst occurred while Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin was addressing the House and calling for calm. The remark came during heated discussions at the 60th anniversary of the death of Joseph Boachi Dankwa. Tensions escalated when Tamale Central MP Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed challenged what he described as exaggerated praises from the minority regarding J.B. Dankwa's legacy. The exchange grew intense, prompting the presiding speaker, Andrew Esiama, to limit contributions to only parliamentary leaderships, effectively silencing other MPs. In the formal communication during parliamentary proceedings on March 3, Speaker Bagman apologized to Dr. Rawlings and her family and gave the culprit an ultimatum to come forward within a week or face the consequences. It is regrettable that an honorable member was subjected to an unwarranted, unjustified, and deeply offensive, reckless remark. I apologize for repeating it. Such conduct is dishonorable and I strongly condemn it as a behavior unbefitting of a sitting MP. I extend my deepest apologies to Honorable Senator Rawlings, Her Excellency Nana Konadu Ajiman Rawlings, former First Lady, and the family, the chiefs, and all the good people of Anglo and Anglo land. And there is more on that on ChannelOneNews.com. All right, so this I feel is very important for us to have the conversation, because it's not just about Dr. Senator Rawlings, but it's also about women, you know, misogyny and patriarchy, and women having a safe space to speak or to flourish. Ellen, do you think this probe is necessary, or you think it's just a distraction? And also, where do you think we should draw the line when it comes to strong political rhetoric?
Parliament has a history, or some of the MPs, don't let me lump on them together, because we have gentlemen, absolute gentlemen in Parliament. When you watch the other parliaments, I'm talking about, don't let us even go far, the last parliament, that's the 8th one. I don't know whether it was I've forgotten the name of the MP, but one MP also attacked some female MPs, calling them names. And we had the issue of where Madame Oslo also had to get up and also give it to the person back. Before that parliament, the other parliaments, if you continue looking, just go through from 92 all the way down. We've had incidences where male parliamentarians think that it is their right. So as I said, I can't say all of them. Some think that it is their right to pass comments, whether on the microphone or off the microphone, insulting women. Whoever it is who said that, to what end? It is bad, it is distasteful, and it shouldn't have been said.
Right.
It doesn't matter your opinion of the man. I don't have any. I have my issues with the reign and with the policies of His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings. Because when he came in with the coup years ago, my family members were affected. So all of us have all manner of issues with all manner of governments. But Senator Rawlings, Honorable, is different from her father. She's made her name for herself. She's done her work. So for me, it is distasteful to say what whoever said it. We still can't find the person. Whoever said it. It was distasteful. And if it's distasteful now, it was distasteful when they said it to the other women too. And it is going to still be distasteful when they say it to future parliamentarians. I mean, how do you say this to your fellow MP?
Yeah.
Then when you see the rest of us, and you have issues with us, we are dead. An honorable member on both sides. This issue of, it's not just, I mean, this is starting in Parliament. If some of the women are going to tell you what they go through in politics, one day you should have me sit here. Let me also tell you what I've gone through. The sort of insult, and that's where it starts from. When the foot soldiers or the party members see their leaders disrespecting women like this, they think it is all right for them to come and continue doing it on social media and doing it on radio and doing it everywhere. On this matter, I don't like the speaker much. I've had my own issues with him. But on this matter, I agree with him. It is disgusting. It is disgraceful. And if they can find a way, and I think they should, don't they have CCTV cameras in Parliament? They should be able to fish whoever it is. About Speaker 2, telling the person to own up. But if the person would have owned up, you have done that long ago. So I think that is neither here nor there. We should look at, I mean, you have processes in Parliament. Get the cameras, get the recordings. Let us see whoever did it. And if there's any punitive measure that should be given to the person, why not? But on this matter, and I think that I haven't heard from the female caucus in Parliament on this matter. I haven't heard from them. Whether it's on the NDC side or on the MPP side or all of them as a group. I haven't heard from them. Or they have. Maybe I didn't hear it. If they have, my apologies. But I haven't heard from them supporting one of their own. It's not nice, honestly. Right. So if there's a way that they can find whoever did it, and if they find the person, what can be done to the person? That's also another question we should be asked. We should be asking, do they have any bylaws or rules that say that when you insult your fellow parliamentarian, this is what is done to you? If they don't, then very quickly, I think Speaker Babin should also put something in, especially protecting women against insults from their fellow MPs. After all, we all went for elections. We are all here because our constituents voted for us. You don't have to like me. But the people of Ghana, a section of the people of Ghana said I should come and represent them. So you should accord me that respect.
Right. All right. Noang, Dr. Zenata Rollins is actually a very key figure in your party. What does this probe mean to NDC and the general conduct of parliamentary affairs?
So I'd just like to make some comments on Parliament is not a boys' club. And every member of Parliament listening, please bear in mind that Parliament is not a locker room. It's not a club. It's not a boys-only club where women are not allowed. But if we continue with these kind of reckless attacks, harassment, insults towards members of Parliament, then of course we are trying to tell women that they have no place in Parliament. And at a time when we have instituted affirmative action and are trying to get more women into Parliament, it's unfortunate that we'll still be having these kind of incidences. Present incidences against women, past incidences. I don't know if you read my article 2 weeks ago in the Daily Graphic about this particular issue. Parliament must be a safe space for women. Women belong in Parliament. It's not a place where you come and exclude anyone. And Parliament is the highest representation of our people.
Right.
So you cannot tell me that in the highest place where our people are represented, we can descend into this kind of chaos and rogue behavior. That comment did not only disrespect Zenata Rollins, it disrespected her party, it disrespected the people she represents, the people of Kole Klote, because they voted for her to come and represent them. Whoever made that comment, if he thinks he did the right thing, if he's bold enough, if he wants to stand by, he should own it. If you think what you did was right, own it. It doesn't even follow any logic that it was unprovoked. If you watch the tape, she did nothing. She hadn't argued with you. There was no previous incident. Then out of the blue, you just call her daughter of a murderer. Daughter of a murderer, so what? She doesn't belong there or what? What are you trying to tell her? Are you trying to embarrass her, push her out of that space, trying to tell her she doesn't belong there? No. She has been voted for. She's representing her people. And you see, this whole issue where we are investigating the incident, like she mentioned, there's CCTV. It is easy if it was, this is a grievous crime that has been committed. If you check our constitution, Article 115, Article 116, it speaks to parliamentarians having the freedom, absolute freedom of speech to engage on the floor of parliament. And they cannot be interfered with or arrested or prosecuted. You cannot take, put any civil or criminal action against them for what they said in parliament. But there should be limits to these things. It doesn't mean that you can descend to the very bottom and nothing will be done about it. I like that Speaker Bagbin has said he has instituted an investigation into this matter. We are hoping that there will be proper closure, and I believe the standing orders of Parliament have a laid down procedure for this to happen. And they have certain repercussions that they can call on as disciplinary action against whoever made these kind of comments.
Right.
I think it's even possible to suspend the person for up to 9 months or something from Parliament. There should be some action that deters anyone from turning Parliament into a hostile zone for women, a hostile zone for anyone else.
Right.
Whether this is done against MPP, women in Parliament, NDC women in Parliament, whichever party, it is still a condemnable action.
Right.
And we should not see these kind of things in the highest representation of people in our country.
Right.
It's very, very unfortunate.
Right.
And the person who made these kind of remarks, I believe wherever he or, it was a male voice.
Yeah.
Wherever he is, should be very embarrassed by what he has said. And whoever, the constituents that he's representing should be very, very, very embarrassed by this.
Right. So, Ellen, I like the fact that you actually started this conversation with an incident that has happened where Ursula had to get up and then shut the person down. So, now, how do we actually ensure, or how does Parliament ensure that this does not happen again? Because it happened before and it's happening again, and nothing has been done because there are no rules to say that if anything happens like this, if such things happen like this to women in Parliament, there will be this sort of punishment. So how do you think, or what do you think should be done to implement such rules in Parliament to protect women?
The sad thing about our Parliament, I have not been a member of Parliament before, but at least I have had a few interactions with them. It doesn't matter the political parties that the men come from. At any point in time, they would defend the other. It doesn't matter. So for me, I'm not too happy about this supposed, what do we call it, investigation. Because if they truly, it's been how many weeks now? If they truly wanted to find the person, I bet you they would have found the person.
Exactly, because people were also sitting around the person.
So it's just a matter, let's even say that the people sitting around the person are his party people, so they might not give him up. But even if it comes up, I can bet you that the other parliamentarians who are also on the other side, they will come together. When they form like, it's like a, I don't know, it's like a lock. And I wish the women in Parliament would understand this and also protect themselves. I don't see the women in Parliament doing that. Maybe because their numbers are so few, it's difficult. But then there's strength in even the fewer numbers, in unity, if you come together. So for me, do I expect anything to come out of this? I don't. Honestly, I don't. I don't expect them to find the person.
Wow.
And if they find the person, I do not expect any apologies from the person. Honestly, because that has been their stock in trade all this while. Anything that happens in not just in Parliament, in politics, Just look at it. You have them across the divide, the men, they always stand together against the women. It's as if they simply don't want us in the space. And in a way, I can understand them. We are that powerful. So if they give us the opportunity to come into the space, they are scared that we will take over. But then the point is, we have a right to the space. Ghana population is 50%. We are more than 50%. So if we are looking at it truly, we are supposed to have more than 50% women in parliament. And if we had that number of women in parliament, I'm sure a lot of our issues will be sorted out.
Well,
because the men, obviously, since 92, they can't do anything. They haven't been able to do anything, whichever side it is. And then they combine and then they sit on their happiness and treat women this way. Do I expect anything to come out of this? Let me be very honest with you. I don't expect it. I mean, with Madam Oslowusu's case, the same thing. Nothing happened. This one, I don't expect anything good to happen, honestly.
Nwang, do you expect anything to happen?
It would be unfortunate because I think that in the very least, a public apology.
As if they are able to find the person.
Yes. Well, if they say they can't find the person, we will all know that it's a deliberate attempt because you can't tell me. So what if a serious crime was committed in Parliament, in broad daylight, with so many people around?
Would it protect the person? Would it protect the criminal?
Would you tell me if someone had attacked any other member of Parliament physically or attacked the speaker, will you say you can't? Yes, it's easy to find the person. If we say we can't find the person, then we have deliberately decided not to find the person. And that would be very telling on the integrity of Parliament itself. I think that everyone in Parliament should be committed to bringing out the person who made these comments. And at the very least, we should have an apology because all of us deserve an apology.
Right.
That person at this point should be willing to even give up himself and say, listen, I made a mistake and I'm sorry for this. And apologize for it. It's a learning curve. You have learned, you will do better and you move on.
Yeah. All right. So let's just get into the next conversation, the fight against illegal mining. 66 illegal miners nabbed in major raid at Tilli Forest Reserve. Authorities have apprehended 66 illegal miners in a well-coordinated joint military and police raid at the Tilli Forest in the Upper East region. This operation, carried out in the early hours of Tuesday, March 4, 2024, sought to put an end to the widespread illegal mining activities devastating the forest. Among those detained are 2 individuals from Burkina Faso, 26 from Togo, and 38 from Ghana. These miners have been operating clandestinely in the Tilli Forest. That's a mouthful. And one of the region's largest forest reserves, causing significant ecological damage. The Tilli Forest, home to diverse wildlife, including elephants and other species, has long suffered from destructive impacts of illegal mining, and the relentless encroachment has placed the ecosystem at risk, threatening the survival of its inhabitants and degrading the natural environment. And there you have it on ChannelOneNews.com. You can actually visit there for more of this conversation. Now, Nwang, I'm going to start with you. It's not just this government that has been battling with illegal mining, yet the problem persists. So why do you think the efforts have been so hard in completely eradicating galamsey?
Lack of political commitment. It's a political issue. In the previous government, they started to fight galamsey, or so we believed. Along the line, a lot of politically exposed persons were accused by journalists, by the public, of being involved in illegal mining. We did not see any results from it. There should be commitment in a way that you are willing to fight even your party members who are engaged in galamsey. The former president said he would put his presidency on the line to fight galamsey. He didn't follow through on that promise, because if he did, galamsey would have seen some improvement. Now, 2 months in, we have seen the NDC conducting raids, and these are raids that we expect to continue as part of the larger fight against galamsey. President John Dramani Mahama has made it clear that he's committed to that galamsey fight. And we have seen the early signs of it, early signals. So even if you are a party member or affiliated to the party in any way, and you think that you are going to involve yourself in illegal mining, expect that you will be part of the people that will be picked up. You are part of those that will be taken through the system and made to face the law. In 2013, when the NDC was in power, there was a joint ministerial task force on illegal mining. Over 4,500 Chinese persons were deported. 4,500. That's a huge number. Even back then, we can clearly see the NDC's commitment towards fighting illegal mining. We destroyed equipment. 2014, ban on issuance of small-scale mining licenses. 2025, you have seen the beginning. We are still working on the law that will prevent mining in our forest reserves. This shows a clear commitment from the party, from the leader, and you can tell, they say you can tell a good chick from the day it's hatched. You can tell from the early signs that there's commitment, there's resolve, and there will be consistent action and results in that direction.
Right.
So illegal mining is something that we are all concerned about. I mean, just a few months ago, people were on the streets demonstrating against galamsey. We saw what happened to all of them. They ended up in jails across the country. That is what showed the lack of political will. A lot of their members were accused. Nothing happened to them. At the end of the day, the only result we had for fighting galamsey was what? Aisha won. One person. What else showed that there was any resolve to fight galamsey? But if you look at the NDC's history, you cannot compare one person to 4,500 people. And I like that we are not taking any break or any honeymoon where the galamsey fight is concerned, because galamsey is a war against Ghana. Galamsey is like declaring it's a war on the environment, war on the future of you and I, war on our natural resources. And we have to tackle it as such. If you look at the people who were arrested, these 66 persons, some of them were Togolese.
Yeah.
Some of them were from Burkina. Which means that they have even infiltrated our security. We have people who are not in this country who are not from this country, engaged in illegal mining. At the end of the day, they don't care what happens, they'll go back to their country. So the devastation is extensive. And before we start to reclaim our lands, we have to ensure that we put a stop to this. And that is what the NDC intends to do.
Right.
Evidently.
All right. Ellen, what are your thoughts on the raid?
Obviously. Let me just say that maybe you're just new to this matter of galamsey. It did not start in Nana Akufo-Addo's time. I mean, in 2013, when His Excellency Atta Mills passed on and John Mahama took over, in May, he did set up an interministerial committee. At that time, the Minister of Lands and Resources was Honorable Mahama Yariga, also. Either him or Issa Husseini, one of them, let me check. And the sort of hell they went through. They got to a point, the ministers were so frustrated that in 2016, they practically said, look, I remember Honorable Mahama Yariga, I think he was in for environment. He said, anywhere where there's mineral resources, the people will do everything to take it out. You know what has happened? The reason why the galamsey fight, the NDC cannot fight it. I'm telling them why. They decided to politicize it when we were fighting it. And things like this, when you politicize it, when you are also in power, the same thing that happened to the other people will happen to you. There are kingpins. I have worked in this industry before, and I worked on the CSR side
of things, yeah.
There are kingpins who do not care about the politicians. They are not politicians, but they have the money. And those are the ones who are sponsoring the people that you went there to go and arrest. Yeah. When the MPP was in power, how many people didn't we arrest? We arrested and even jailed some. We had President Mahama going to Takwa to go and tell them that when I come, you are not the ones who are the kingpins. Those who are in prison, you are not the ones. So I'll release you. I will look for the kingpins. He should look for the kingpins. He should make sure that he looks for them. And you know how he's going to make it difficult? Some of those kingpins, some of them put their monies in his campaign. They might not have brought it to him, but they have all manner from the MPs to everybody. How would you know? People who came in as party members, they were helping out with the campaign. You will go in and you find out that, apparently this person was involved in galamsey. That is how widespread the tentacles are. And it's going to be extremely difficult for him. I wish him well. I really do wish him well. Because if he's able to fight it, it doesn't matter whether I'm an MPP person. It will benefit me. But I can tell him that he's in for an uphill. In fact, it is like climbing the Kwewu Mountains on foot. Wow. That is the sort of battle that we have to fight with this galamsey matter. And just this week, I heard that some of them had the nerve to block a section of the Ankobra River, and they were washing the gold in it with mercury. That is how brazen they have become. Left to me alone, I said it on a sister station, I'll repeat it here. I think when we're in power, I did say it, people were angry with me. But the people who decide to go on our water bodies, we should declare them as terrorists.
Right.
Yes, galamsey is going on in the forest reserves. I agree. We should look at that. But those who are sitting in the water you and I, Ghana water needs to purify for us to use. For the past few weeks, water has not been flowing in Accra.
Yeah.
It comes once, I think the Spintex area have it on Wednesday, the Adabraka people have it on Monday. And it is because Ghana water is going through stress. And this is not the time. Ghana water told us years ago
that we will go through.
But we still have these people who are on the rivers. We had to deal with them first before we entered the forest. Because the river is important. We need the water. And for me, I think the military should just take their planes and their helicopters on all our river bodies. And when they see, they should shoot to kill you. Because you are a terrorist. You want to kill all of us. Of course, the human rights people will not agree with me. But Nigeria is doing that. And that's how come they have their water bodies free. Because the people know that if we go on the water, we'll be shot. Perhaps we should look at those options. Last week, the minister had a conversation at Kempisti on galamsey and mining matters. This week, videos have appeared where in his own constituency, his backyard, the people are there. I think Minister, is it Amabua? Please, start dealing with them in your background, Elembele, and then we move on. Those who have started to enter our forest reserve, this is not the first time they are going in. According to the story, they've been there. You know the sad thing that's going to happen to us? Most of our rivers, the source of the rivers are in these forest reserves.
Right.
So now they are not just killing the rivers downstream, they are looking for the sources too. And from what I hear, the sources have so much gold there and other minerals. But then the question we should ask ourselves is, Ghana, we've been mining minerals, gold for over 400 years. So our ancestors, they were stupid. And they didn't go into the river. They didn't go into the forest reserves. Why didn't they go there? And they were rather mining out of these areas. But we, our generation in the last 20 years, we want all the money in this world. And then the politicians too will add by politicizing it. So NDC is at one side screaming when MPP is in power, you are not doing it. Now you are also in power. And I cannot see the MPP helping you out in this. I'm hoping that as a party we'll sit down and we decide that, look, for the sake of Ghana, let us help them. But when we compare what they did and we say we are going to do the same thing to them, in the next 4 years, all of us will not get water to drink. We should stop looking at the fact that MPP members were accused. Some MPP members were accused of doing galamsey. Does not mean that you don't have some NDC members who are also doing it.
Right.
And it's going to come out.
Right.
And the sad thing is that when they come out, we are going to concentrate on those ones who are the politicians and leave the business mongols who have the money.
Right.
And we've left them.
Right.
So President Mahama did promise that when he come into power, he'll be chasing the business mongols. We are waiting for him to arrest 1 or 2 of them.
All right.
He even has some who are MPs.
All right.
If I can just make a few comments, I know we're almost out of time.
We're actually out of time.
So she mentioned that President Mahama said he will go after the kingpins and release certain persons. We have to understand that the people that keep getting arrested are not the real criminals of galamsey. That is why galamsey still went on. Those people are laborers. They are employed by bigger persons. They are people who invest in it. If you arrest the small people, they simply employ more people. And then it goes on. If you catch the masterminds, that is how you stop galamsey. You don't just give us some tokenism and use these people who do not know anything about it, who are employed by bigger fish, and then say that you are fighting galamsey. That's why you had issues with fighting galamsey.
So
because you were tackling the wrong ones. Let me finish. I allowed you to talk, even when you were speaking mistruths. Okay. So the NPP, instead of fighting galamsey, what did they do? They became the actual criminals of galamsey. You also mentioned that there are some of the kingpins who donated to President Mahama's campaign. I think we should not allow untruths to go unchecked on air, because we cannot sit here and lie to the good people of Ghana. Let us have some integrity. If you say that people donate, name them and go and assist investigations. The National Investigations Bureau, I am speaking, I have not landed. I did not interrupt you. You said you know the kingpins. Go and give that information to the National Investigations Bureau. In fact, they should invite you.
She says
they should invite you to the NIB so you can give them the information that you have.
She put it out
unless you are lying.
50,000
you cannot sit on air and lie.
She won her
and do not
constituency.
expect it to be checked.
She is now in Parliament.
It's unfortunate.
That lady, I'm trying to do
no, it's unfortunate.
It's in Parliament.
And she has been named.
That she
many people in the NPP she told you she's a minor. Take that information to the National Investigations Bureau.
All these people are there.
You can't just sit here and lie about President Mahama.
The people who are in jail, you are going to release them.
All right.
Release them.
And you say you know the kingpins. Bring them.
Catch the kingpins.
Ladies,
yes. You said you know them.
President Mahama. And I'm telling you, I'm saying it.
And since you know them, Helen, you should be part of the investigation. Because you know them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much,
ladies. It's unfortunate that the national communicator of the NPP can sit on TV and tell
guys, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be back.
Respect your audience.
He cannot do